Good afternoon Internet, and welcome back to Hymer Bil's Technical. Today we're going to be doing the air filter and an oil change with a new oil filter. Before we start, could I please ask, please like, subscribe and give the thumbs up at the end of this video. Just keep it going, and it'll encourage me to keep doing these videos for you. Anyway, off we go. So first of all, we'll open up the bonnet and it'll be removal of the spare wheel. Spare wheel. Now, as you'll see here, we'll move in and move this band. Should be a bolt, and we'll see where we'll go from there. So 13mm the 13mm socket. Once the bolt's loose, you can lift the retaining strap, and that allows your air filter housing to come loose. You've got the retaining springs here that hold the cover onto your air filter housing, so these just click forward, and there should be 3 of them. Okay, next we'll take off this hose clip here, and that is the feed into your air filter housing, and we should be able to, once this is detached from this inlet, we should be able to get this out. Okay, that's that off. And the housing's out. Okay, so you've got 3 clips, one right at the back, front and top. And one old and dirty air filter. Okay, it's not too nice, but it has done about 7,000 miles, so okay, and comes with the end. Okay, so sorry, I pre-loosened the hose clamp that fits over this part. Okay, so nice new clean filter. Doesn't matter, I don't think it matters the position of this. I just don't think there's any clips in. Nope. slips into position. And I can put the clips on in this position. Okay, and that's that locked in position. Now while I'm in here, I'm just going to check the tension of the belts. Good. On the belts, you should be able to get about 10mm deflection either way, and the belt shouldn't be too tight, so you should be able to get a deflection. It shouldn't be like a bowstring, just slight deflection. Now, if any of your belts are squealing, it's not necessarily that they're too loose. It could be the belt is actually worn in the V. So don't always take it that your belt is loose if you get it squealing. It could be, but there's a good chance that your belt's loose and the edges of the belt, if it's a V belt, are glazed over and the belt's worn out. Okay, there's quite a bit of deflection on mine. I know they're not slipping and I know they're not too tight. And the problem if you get the belts too tight is you will wear out bearings. Now I'll show you the belt tensioner on these engines and just give you a look at them. This is one of the belt tensioners of these Fiat Talbot 2.5 diesels. Okay, very, very simple piece of equipment. Now, this one's actually in not bad condition. I don't know if you can see, there's not really any movement there. And if I spin the bearing, there's no noise. It's quiet. Now, I had a problem with this bearing 2 years ago when I got the vehicle. Now I only noticed because it smelt hot. It was hot underneath in the bonnet, under the bonnet. And what was happening is this bearing had lost all the grease in it. Now it was still operating fine and there wasn't wear. What you did notice was when I put my hand in, I nearly burnt my hand on this bearing, and the belts were really, really hot. This bearing got almost red hot and I could actually smell the heat. So what I did is I removed this black cap gently with the edge of a Stanley blade. Now at that point I could spin that bearing and it spun really, really easily, very easily, and you could hear a swishing sound as you could hear the ball bearings metal to metal as they turned. Okay, and that's why it was getting red hot. There was no lubrication in it, and these are sealed up on both sides. So what I did, because the bearing wasn't too worn, is I took that cap off very gently and I melted with a blowtorch high temperature grease until it was almost like water, really, really runny, and I poured it into the bearings. Okay, and this particular one lasted a 4,000 mile trip around Europe. It was a bit dry when it came back. Again, I had to do the same thing again, take the cap, fill it with high temperature grease until I got a brand new one. and I've kept this as a spare because it's still okay. But I do urge you, it's a thing I wouldn't have come across apart from I'd smelt the heat. But if you're changing the belts, then please have a look at the spare and see if it's running dry. If it is, and it's not too warm, you'll get away with putting grease into it. But do check it, because if this breaks when you're thousands of miles away from home, then you're in trouble. You can't get these anymore. I think some members of the Hymer forum are saying there are some place in Germany that will make them, but I've not been able to find. I did find a link, but they certainly didn't say they could make them, and they don't have them in stock, and no one else has them at the moment. The last one I got was £140, and the only other place that had them were trying to sell them at £220, so I'm actually looking at some place to try and have these manufactured. So do check that. Okay, I'm not going to check on mine. I know it's a brand new one that's there. Okay, so this is the strap. Here, as it holds the air filter housing. The end of the air filter housing goes on here, and the hose, other end of the hose, goes on to this point here. Now what I do is I'll take a little smear of oil and just smear it round there and smear it round the outside of that, and that just helps everything slide back into position. Okay, just a little, just help us get it in here. It's a bit awkward, but it does go. I'm trying to remember the position it was in. So just slide that down. It needs to just go at a slight angle. Sorry, can't really show you here. So that's it back in position. I'll tighten the hose clamps first. And once the hose clamps are tight, we'll put the bracket back over. So hose clamps back on. There's a little nodule here that lines up with a hole in that bracket when you're fitting it, and it clips in at the bottom there, so you can hopefully push it down below the clip, then tighten it up. And that's it, that's the air filter done. Quite simple. And while you're there, say check your belts. And now we'll move on to the oil filter.
Come back and see us in part 2, where we'll be doing the oil and filter. Thanks for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Like to see you again. Bye.